of the year and you're doing an all about me unit. I feel like I've actually made this video already, but when I was reading and showing what I would do for I like myself, this is the extension to that lesson, but I just want to tell you in a little bit more detail what I would do and how amazing these ended up turning out. And so I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity to kind of follow my lead in this area if you have the resources to do so. If you're following along in my curriculum, the preschool experience, in the All About Me unit, after you finish reading I Like Myself, you have handed them this mirror. Y'all played a little game where they're looking for different features for themselves. You're going to practice saying, I like my, and they're going to name different things about themselves. Then you're going to break into small groups if you have a co-teacher. If you don't have a co-teacher, I would explain what I would do in just a minute. But you're going to work with a small group of kids. They're going to have their hand mirror with them. They're going to look at their features. Are they going to be able to draw their features exactly what it looks like? No. But in the kid's mind, they're making that connection that they're looking at themselves, and that's what they're putting on their paper. Then you're going to give them one of those big sheets of manila paper. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? The ones that are on the school list, that have been on the school list since 1990. Get one of those big manila pieces of paper. Then you're going to do a step-by-step. I think this actually has a name when you give them step-by-step instructions when it comes to drawing things, but I could not remember what it's called. You're going to then guide them. You're going to have yours there, and you're going to guide them. You're going to guide them through this step today, where they're going to take a pencil and they're going to draw a big circle for their head. Now, some of them still might make tiny little circles. We're going to then encourage them to make it bigger. You might flip the page over. You really do want them to have a decent size circle for this, because we're going to end up painting it. Listening if you hate paint. So now after they make the big circle, now you're going to tell them, okay, draw 2 eyes. So they're going to make 2 eyes for themselves. You can even have them color in like the little circles inside their eyes, like the black part or whatever. Then you could have them make their nose. Again, you can encourage them throughout the thing to look and see what it looks like. The kids are not, I can't even draw a nose. And if they start to whine and complain about that, just tell them, do the best you can. Just make a little shape like this, or just make a circle. Just encourage, make a triangle, kind of makes a triangle shape. Just encourage them in any way to be able to make the shape. You want them to do it themselves. Please don't take over on this, because they turn out adorable. You want this to be their artwork. Then you're going to have them look at their mouth, and then, okay, well, what shape is the mouth? Okay, let's make that. And they could either make just a smile, or they can do with an open mouth. Some of the kids, depending on how old they are, like to make the lip shape. Some like to draw their teeth in there. Whatever it is that they want to add for their mouth, go ahead and have them do it. Then, okay, we have ears. Where are the ears on our head? They're on the sides. We have 2 of them. Have them draw their ears. Now you can go into a little bit more detail where they make their eyebrows. These might be very new vocabulary words to them, so don't just race right past that. Talk about, what are these called? Oh, eyebrows. How many do we have? Okay, let's put them down on our paper. Can you make your eyebrows? Are they on top of your eyes, or are they on the bottom of your eyes? Then talk about, what are these? These are eyelashes. Yeah, are the eyelashes on the top or the bottom? Let's look. Oh, wow, I see. We have eyelashes on the top and the bottom. Can you add eyelashes on your drawing? So you're going to go through steps like that. Some kids may get it and it looks beautiful, and some it's going to look like a crazy mess. Hopefully by the end of it, it all comes together though. Now, after about 15 minutes, when you get all of this group drawing theirs, you're going to pause and you're going to switch, and you're going to do this same lesson with the other group of kids while those kids go and do their All About Me with the other teacher. Hold tight though, because you're going to finish up this lesson with the kids tomorrow when you add paint. If you are a teacher in the classroom all by yourself, the way that I've done this both ways, so you do with it the way that you feel most comfortable. You could, while they are in centers, you are calling over a few at a time and you're working with them in the art center and they are drawing their self-portraits, and you're kind of rotating through them until you get all of them over there. A lot of the centers that I work with, they go to center time 2 times a day. So you may be working on some of those other things from some of the other lessons during the morning centers, and then now in the afternoon when they're doing more of like their free play center or whatever, then you're calling them over and you're working working on this. Or I've also done it as a whole group, and although it can be a little bit more stressful like this, giving the kids step-by-step instructions and using like your whiteboard and drawing the self-portrait features on there so that they have something to look at, then that could work too. That's more so for your 3s and 4s and 5-year-olds. You would probably not end up with an actual picture by the end of it for the 2-year-olds. This video is getting really long, so I need to wrap it up. But this video is going to play as a 2-parter because this is what you're going to do on Friday with the kids. That was on Wednesday, so now on Friday, you're going to have read I Like Myself for the last time. Then you're going to do your head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And now you're going to work in your small group. And you are going to work with the small group of kids to add paint, add color to their self-portrait while your co-teacher is working on the All About Me books with the kids. I think you get the point with that now. Now, this is very vital that you as teacher take some time and get the appropriate colors. You want to have realistic colors that match different skin tones in your classroom. I was very fortunate in my classroom that our school had those on hand. So I had like a variety of colors to choose from. I think it was from like Crayola or something. And I had big tubes that I had in my classroom so that I could go, like, it was so fun because I could go through this with the kids. We could look at our skin colors. We could talk about like how beautiful all of our different skin tones are, and that we're going to try to find the color that matches our skin tone the most. Now you're going to look through. You might even put some little samples on there so that they could pick, just like you would if you were like going to get your makeup done or something. And they can go and they can try to find like, okay, this one looks like me the most, and then they're going to paint their whole features with that. Make sure that you don't let the kids just kind of like paint all over their paper. We still want them to go over their features, like where they drew their eyes, because we're going to want to paint white on there, and it gets just a little bit like crazy when we start to mix all of those colors. So have them do like their facial features, but try to leave like their mouth and their eyes untouched. That way when we add the other colors, it looks a lot better. Also make sure you have the colors that they will need for their eyes, and make sure you have the different colors that you will need for your hair. Know your kids ahead of time and grab the colors that you need for each of those things. Because one thing that we want to do for sure is we want to reiterate to them that everything that makes up who they are makes them special, that they like these things about themselves. If they have like fun curly hair, we want them to draw fun curly hair and paint fun curly hair on there. If they have long thick hair or they wear a braid, whatever it is that is very specific to them, we want them to highlight that by talking about it, drawing it, and then picking the color that matches. Their tip is make sure you have a place to put all of these while they are drying, because it can turn into a mess. I used to have in my classroom this long art rack that was like the best thing that I could have ever had. I loved it so much because these just fit in there so perfectly and out of the way, stacked up so that the kids were not messing with them and they had time to dry. But just know if your kids used a lot of paint too, if you're using your little hang up things, that might all mess up the picture and start dripping all down. So keep all that into consideration when you're figuring out where to put these self-portraits as they are drying. These portraits turn out so adorable though. You're gonna want to have them out for your open house or something, because you want everybody to see them because they are just adorable. Like lessons like these, go ahead and comment all about me and PM me your email address. That way, as soon as I get these videos uploaded, I will get that into your hands as soon as possible.